Good evening, Assalamu Alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra with the latest roundup of sports tonight. I am your host, Ahmed Nawaz. We've got a fantastic lineup that we will be discussing. Let's take a look at things that are going to be on the show tonight. On to the knockout stages. Of course, we're going to be talking about the quarterfinals that will take place. We've got some intense action that we will be talking about. First of all, we'll be talking about England that will be facing South Africa. Pakistan are going to be taking on Australia. So it's going to be an intense battle when we talk about the Under-19 World Cup. After that, we'll be moving on to tennis. In tennis, we'll be discussing the Australian Open in detail, where Rafael Nadal is now one step closer to a 21st Grand Slam victory. Ash Barty is also into the semi-finals, and Krejcikova has been upset by Madison Keys. We will be discussing all that in tonight's show. Starting things off with cricket, I'll be introducing my guest. First of all, in studios, I've been joined by our cricket expert. He's a commentator as well, like I said, very much in demand these days, K. Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum, Asif. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, and always really thankful to you that you're making compliment for me. Thank you very much.
Great to have you on the show. It's always fun having you around, and we have been joined by someone. It's been quite a long time since we had him, but he's back once again. What a moment to get him back on the anthem. So I think it was the right moment to bring him back once again. Mr. Ali Mehdi, sports expert, is joining us. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, Ahmed. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you on the back as well. Now, because we're too excited, we're too pumped up, we're talking about the anthem. I think all of you and all of us deserve to, have a listen once again, groove to this anthem that is called Aage Dekh, with the lead vocalist Atif Aslam and Naima Beg. Let's take a listen and then we'll come back. Aage Dekh, that's the anthem for PSL 7 when we talk about this edition. Absolutely phenomenal, sensational stuff when you talk about the music, the composition, and of course Atif Aslam and Naima Beg, the lead vocalist there as well. Absolutely superb. But I know the focus is on cricket, but these kind of activities, just give you a feel of festivity with the PSL as well. And Asif, it is already, a season of festivity.
Yes, of course, when we talk about PSL, Pakistan Super League, it's a festival for Pakistan, and that we always enjoy cricket. And when we talk about cricket, the second religion of Pakistan, not only in Pakistan but the subcontinent in Asia, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, people loves this phenomenal game. And I don't know why people are criticizing over this anthem. It's very simple that I do appreciate that PCB is coming with a very positive approach. This is not an issue that of PCB. The way they are working, it's been fantastic, and I do appreciate their efforts.
We need to appreciate their efforts as well, and at this moment we'd also like to appreciate the efforts of Mr. Shiraz, who has just given us a cup of tea. So Asif, promise delivered. You asked for tea. The tea is fantastic. It's been given to you as you asked for it. So you're not just enjoying the anthem, but you're also enjoying the tea now.
Look, it's really nice, and tea is fantastic.
But Ali Mehdi, coming to you, whether people like it or not, look, we have to understand every season has its own flavor. Every season has its own things to cheer about, and like we said, the focus will be on cricket, but it's an atmosphere of festivity. And if you talk to people in Karachi, in Lahore, where PSL is going to take place, they're absolutely over the moon right now.
Look, I have to start off by saying the people in Karachi and Lahore are extremely excited, extremely elated, like all the people in Pakistan, and that is because of the introduction of the PSL. And every time we actually start, the PSL actually is about to start, should it be in January or February. What happens is that we always look forward to the anthem. Ahmed, this year, it's a different vibe. The most amazing thing about these anthems is that it has a different flavor every single year. You had this year, you have Level Hai. Last year you had Groove Mera, before that you had Taiyar Ho. So it's a different vibe, to every year. The most important thing is it should not be monotonous, and that's why it's so different, because it's all unique. I mean, you have to give a huge shout out to, the composer, the producer Abdullah Siddiqui, and then Naima Beg with her second, and then Atif.
Yeah, and you're already a fan of Naima Beg, so I'm sure you're really happy that she.
No, I am a fan. All the foreign players are here, so can't wait for.
Yeah, but
of
course, give it time. Let it be played in the stadiums, as Sanamir was telling me in the afternoon, that it'll have a vibe when you listen to it in the stadium. That's how the vibe gets to you. But Asif, sticking to the cricket as well at the same time, tough times. COVID is on the rise, very, very tough times. But we have been told, and we have been hearing that the Pakistan Cricket Board has put in very, very strong measures for COVID-19. Very strong biosecure protocols in the bubble.
Well, this is the topic which we should discuss, that what's happening concerning PSL and what happened in the last year. Either we have learned the message or not. Yes, this is a topic. So for me, I think I'm pretty much happy that the way PCB is working now. If you see the biosecure bubble, if you see the new rules and regulations for PSL 7, definitely it's really promising and really positive. For me, I'm so happy that there won't be any chances for the cancellation of match due to COVID. Because if you got 13 positive cases, even then you have the chance to play with 11 local players, which it means that if you got 4, 5, 7 players positive, it does not mean that you're staying at your place and there is no match. Yes, there would be match with the reserve players. So it's really good. And the way Ramiz Raja said, the chairman PCB, that they got really good measures, and each and every person should be following all these steps, should be following all the protocols concerning COVID-19. This is really important. You know that right after this, we'll be facing Australia in Pakistan. We'll be having Australia in Pakistan. So it's really important that if you want to get the rest of the teams, they're coming and they're visiting Pakistan, this PSL is really important to should be completed with all the measures which have been taken by the PCB. Everybody, the broadcasters, journalists, players, now we all are stakeholders. So we should take the responsibility.
And go with a positive intent. I think that should be there. I think Asif really puts it in beautiful words that all of us are stakeholders. We need to own this and go with a positive intent. But Ali Mehdi, your thoughts when you talk about the squads, how do you rate them? And definitely talk about the Kings.
Look, I think that each and every squad has their own blend and different, strong points, pros and cons for all these teams. But if you want to ask me, I was actually having a look at all the squads this afternoon, and if there's one squad which really points out, it has to be the most successful team in the whole PSL, and that is Islamabad United. I think Islamabad United have an excellent team. I mean, they've got excellent local players, with Shadab, Hassan Ali, and then Asif Ali. So much firepower.
And they might be the quietest team in the PSL, but they will creep up on you and you won't even realize.
Look, the most important thing over them and what they like is the spotlight is not on them. It's on the defending champions, Multan Sultans, then Karachi Kings, who have now Babar Azam, as their new captain too, and then obviously Quetta, because they have Shahid Afridi, who's playing his last season. So the spotlight's not going to be on them, which they will like, because they are the sort of team, they don't want the spotlight to be on them. They want to creep up the table. They want to bag in the points. They've got an excellent management. They've got a very good team. They've got some really, really good foreign players. And they've got Alex Hales over there, Reece Topley, who's coming from England right now in the England versus West Indies series. So, I mean, they've got a very awesome team. They've got firepower, dynamism, and then at the same time, they've got versatility, which is so important. You talk about Karachi Kings, the winners of this, the 5th edition too. They've also got, a very good
But
team.
Ali Mehdi, where does the allegiance lie this season?
Well, it's a difficult one. If you're going to ask me, my allegiance, honestly, is going to lie with Quetta Gladiators, the team which I actually.
So you've got Afridi this season.
No, they've got Afridi this season. They've got Sarfraz this season. This is the team which has finished at the foot of the table for the past 2 seasons. They
but $1 million question, gentlemen. $1 million question, Asif.
No, but let me make a compliment for the Rehanul Haq. Everyone knows that who is Rehanul Haq. Basically, if you talk about the who is behind the victories of Islamabad United, and that is the mastermind and the brain working, that is called Rehanul Haq.
And Hassan Chima,
the general manager. I know him personally. The guy, if you ask about his homework, if you talk about his cricket ethics, if you talk about his cricket knowledge, if you talk about his aptitude, each and everything is perfect.
Right, so, but Asif, let me ask you something very important, because it might skip my mind. We have to move forward as well. Who's captain for Quetta Gladiators? Sarfraz Ahmed?
No, look.
Let me complete my question, Asif.
All right.
Let me complete my question.
All right.
There are news that people wanted Nadeem Umar to change the captain for Quetta Gladiators. He refused. Then somebody also wanted to change the captain. He still refused. But then they release an official teaser for their anthem, and that does not have their captain. Now, this is a question which I'm not asking. It's not Ahmed Nawaz. It's the public that are asking, where is Sarfaraz Ahmed?
Well, really important question that when you give confidence to Sarfraz Ahmed that you're leading our side, and this guy is missing in the anthem of Quetta Gladiators, it would definitely raising questions and raising points, and people are asking the right question. But for me, if Shahid Afridi is there, I think Shahid Afridi and Sarfaraz has a very good working relationship. If you see in the past that Sarfaraz and Afridi both are from the Karachi.
Yeah. Afridi said he's my favorite captain.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that it won't be any problem, I think. And Sarfaraz would be leading with the help of Shahid Afridi.
With the help of Shahid Afridi. Yeah. But Ali Mehdi, strange to have an anthem and not show your captain?
It's very strange. I mean, I saw that teaser and I was really taken aback with no Sarfaraz Ahmed. I mean, look, Sarfaraz Ahmed is like the blue-eyed boy of Quetta Gladiators. Yeah. He is their franchise ambassador. He's carried this team since inception in 2016. I mean, look, other than the last 2 seasons, in the first 4 seasons, they were exceptional this Quetta Gladiators, making about 2 finals and then making 2 finals and then winning the competition and finally in 2019. Yes, they've gone through a lull over the past few seasons, but that's fine. That happens with every team. Same thing has happened to Islamabad United. So I actually feel that this year it's probably good that the spotlight is, like I said, is not on Sarfaraz Ahmed, because he's doing his homework behind the off screen. He's working behind, with his team too, working hard on the squad, working on his fitness skills, on his own skills, on the team, the balance, everything. I think right now it's important that the focus should be on Shahid Afridi. It's his last season as a professional for playing for the PSL. So I don't think there's going to be any changes, and if he isn't there, there shouldn't be any controversy.
Right. For me, Shahid Afridi is not a game changer, to be very honest. For me, yes, Shahid Afridi is a big name. Of course, that he played some tremendous cricket for Pakistan as well in PSL, PSL as well, in other leagues as well for me, but he's not a game changer.
Yeah, it's just the aura. Whenever he comes on, it's the aura of him as well. Yeah. On that note, let's take a look at our segment recap. And we of course discussed PSL 7th edition. The official anthem Aage Dekh is now out. The lead vocalist Atif Aslam, Aima Beg, and we talk about the producer and the composer Abdullah Siddiq as well, who's done fantastic, I think, a blend, a genre of music which is both exciting and grooving at the same time as well, has a lot of swagger to it. So I think that's great to see. Overall talk of PSL under very strict COVID protocols as well, a couple of cases every now and then, but then of course the biosecure bubble is in place, all the measures, the biosecure protocols are in place as well. On that note, we'll now move on towards another topic for cricket, which is the Under-19 World Cup, where we've got the quarterfinal lineups that have been completed. The action will be taking place. Pakistan is going to be facing Australia, and I think it's a very, very tough task for Pakistan, considering they have had a good tournament, but obviously whenever you talk about the knockout stages, it really gets difficult. So Asif, Australia is going to be a tough opposition, although the boys in green are doing pretty well.
Well, no doubt about it that whenever you are playing it against Australia on any level, if it's either under 16, under 19 or the national level, you'd have to prepare yourself for each and everything that. And for this time, I'm saying that Pakistan should go, if we're winning the toss, we should go for the batting and we should stage.
The chasing has been a problem, yes.
Yes, look, I'm always telling that Pakistan from last couple of decades, we're not good in batting. Even if you talk about in our test cricket as well. So while playing against Australia, you should go for the batting first and score at least 270 or 80. If you are scoring anything less than 270 or 280, you won't be in game. I'm telling you right now, write down my words. And if you're batting second, then it's good that if you are putting down around 200 and 220. And yes, the guys are in really good touch. But once again, the problem is this is the knockout stage and this is the quarterfinal. We lost in Asia Cup in semi-final against Sri Lanka.
Yes, low total.
Yeah, so even we were not ready to chase 148. So that's why I'm saying even I'm now giving more runs, 200 and 220 would be okay. Because, then Hasib scored a tremendous century. Shehzad is in good touch. The rest of the guys, even Qasim Akram, the captain, he's leading from the front. Mehran, very good spinner. Then Maaz. So it's a very good side. So you got the ability, you got the talent to beat Australia in quarterfinals. The only thing is your motivation and your consistency.
Definitely. Ali Mehdi, what would you like to add? We talk about the boys in green being in good form, but obviously it becomes another level when you're facing Australia in a knockout encounter.
Look, Australia is going to be a very difficult test for Pakistan, and the reason I say that is that in the opening game of the World Cup, Australia decimated the home team, the West Indies. They played extremely good cricket, athletic cricket. They played, they bowled them out extremely well, and all facets of the game. Should it be batting, bowling, they outplayed them, and they've looked like a very strong team. They've come actually to win this tournament. So the thing with Pakistan is that Pakistan haven't had a real stern test in this tournament till now too. I mean, Australia played the West Indies, and then the other teams also faced off each other. Big teams played, but Pakistan hasn't played. Pakistan played Afghanistan, they played Papua New Guinea. This is going to be their first stern test, and if really Pakistan wants to win this, like Asif said, Pakistan needs to bat first, put a high total, and play out of their skin, because Australia, is a very mighty, difficult team to place.
Definitely. Asif, you think the problem has been the very simple one that we've seen over the years with Pakistan cricket team, even at we talk about club level for local teams as well, that you tend to take early wickets, you tend to contain a side, but with these tail enders you tend to leak runs, and this has been happening in this tournament so far as well.
And it's all about your aptitude. And we'd have to learn this from Australia. We'd have to learn this from rest of the other teams, the way they're playing, especially New Zealand. That if you do remember the final of World Cup 19, that the way England played, that if you're losing your wickets early on, it does not mean that you're losing the match. You should have to show the courage that, and in one-day cricket, your partnerships are really important. And let's suppose if you got 3 partnerships of 70 runs, it means that you are above 210, right? 210. And if you got 3-4 partnerships like 70, 80, and then 50, and 2 players are scoring more than 70, 80. So it's all about your team effort, that, and guys should take their responsibility individually as well. Team is good, team fight is okay, but the one time you think that the individualism is really important in cricket, and that's why the Australians are performing. That's why New Zealanders are performing. You talk about Guptill, you talk about Kane Williamson, that they're the team players. But when we talk about the responsibility of an individual, they are pretty much fine. So this is what I'm trying to mention now, that Pakistan team should try to learn that what individualism is
all about. Definitely. Asif, thank you so much for joining us. Ali Mehdi, thank you so much for joining us as well. Let's take a look at our segment recap. We discussed Under-19 Cricket World Cup with the quarter-final lineups that have been completed. Pakistan is facing Australia. England is taking on South Africa. A lot to talk about. The Super 12 quarter-final stages starts from tomorrow, and it's going to be a great contest. Obviously, the boys in green have a tough competition, but hoping that they do their best and qualify for the semis, the final, and then, of course, win the tournament as well. On that note, we'll go towards a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with tennis, and we'll be joined with Sabeel Hazir. Welcome back to Sports Extra. Time now for our segment on tennis. In studios, we've been joined by my co-anchor and our sports expert, football youth coach as well, Sabeel Hazir. Assalamu alaikum, Sabeel. How are you?
I'm very well. I quite enjoyed the anthem today, so I'm in a good mood.
Well, great to have you on the show, and glad that you enjoyed the anthem. Now we've got a report on the Australian Open and all the latest of action. Let's take a look and then come back.
Unemotional Madison Keys became the first woman to progress to this year's Australian Open semi-finals after continuing her spectacular renaissance at Melbourne Park. Keys upset Czech 4th seed and French Open champion Barbora Krejcikova. Meanwhile, Ashleigh Barty underlined why she is the Australian Open favourite as she thrashed Jessica Pegula to set up a semi-final against Madison Keys. Barty set the tone in the first game of the match, clawing her way from 40-0 down on Pegula's serve to break the American. On the men's side, Rafael Nadal moved to within 2 matches of a record 21st Grand Slam title with a dogfight 5-set quarter-final win over Denis Shapovalov. It was a gritty win for Nadal over 22-year-old who was coming off a straight sets upset of 3rd seed Alexander Zverev.
There you have it, all you need to know about the latest of action on the Australian Open circuit. Now Sabeel Hazir will start off on the men's side. Nadal almost had a scare with Denis Shapovalov, but at the end of the day, El Matador will be El Matador.
Yeah, we talk a lot about his passion, not just on this show. In the world of tennis, people talk a lot about his passion and his determination. Before Djokovic broke onto the scene, really that only person who seemed to have that ability to come back from the dead like a phoenix was Nadal. As obviously Djokovic does that a lot as well, but Nadal really has that ability where even if he's coming back and it looks like the game slipped by him, you can never write him off. He's got such power and this ability to just get energy even in the dying stages. So to come back is something you always expect from Nadal. That's actually what's also happening in his career right now, where people are writing him off because of injuries. He does seem to be on track to at least reaching the final of the Australian Open and having a crack at the 21st. Obviously, he's got the semis now. But judging by this next quarter, I think it's Monfils and Berrettini's.
Which has gone right down to the wire.
Yeah,
as well.
that's going down as well. I think it's in the 5th set right now. Look, if it's Monfils, Nadal breezes past him, in my opinion. They've played about 15, 20 times in their career, and Nadal's only lost once.
We've got to give credit to Denis Shapovalov as well, because if you're 2 sets down to Nadal, then obviously you make a comeback as well. But we'll talk more on this. We now have been joined on Sports Extra by tennis player and a fellow anchor on PTV, Mehak Kokar. Mehak, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Sports Extra.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for having me.
Right, intense match, the way we wanted an Australian Open encounter between Shapovalov and Nadal. But like I'm saying, that you got to give credit to Shapovalov as well, because if you're 2 sets down against Nadal, then nobody probably expects you to make a comeback.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, you do have to give credit to Denis Shapovalov there as well. And, it was a match where we saw a lot of ups and downs, a lot of excitement. It was definitely a very exciting match, I would say, because, Nadal's 2 sets to love up. He's got way more experience than Shapovalov, and Shapovalov then, showed his fighting spirit. And even though we know Shapovalov has a very aggressive, game style, so he makes a lot of unforced errors, but he still managed to take the next 2 sets off of the fighter, off of the, El Matador, as you say, Rafael Nadal. So you really have to give him credit there. He did lose his cool in, the first set, the second set with the umpire, talking about why he thought Nadal was taking more time than, you'd actually given in between serves. So, he did lose his cool, but then again, he still managed, even after losing his cool, he still managed to come and take the next 2 sets and then took Nadal to the 5th set. He's the first player to take Nadal to 5 sets throughout this tournament so far. And just before that, he caused a really big upset of the tournament. He beat Alexander Zverev, who was basically in hopes of becoming the new world number 1 after this tournament. So, he basically defeated him in straight sets in great fashion, played excellent tennis. I still think Shapovalov has a really, really good game with his ground strokes, his aggressive style play. But at the end of the day, we know why Rafael Nadal is Rafael Nadal. And for me, I still think he's going to be the favourite to win this Grand Slam.
Well, Sabeel Azad, do you have any more tricks up your sleeve? Anyone who can stop El Matador now? Because, that 21st Grand Slam just now seems inches away.
So I've been Medvedev since day one. I still think he's going to win. I do think Nadal is the only he's the only person left now who can stop him, in my opinion. But he was always, for me, it was these two going to make it to the final. And I'm still going to give it to Medvedev. I do not think Nadal will win his 21st Grand Slam. I know perhaps I'm going against yourself and Mehak on this, and you both are most probably going to end up embarrassing me and being right. But I don't think Nadal will have it on the day of the final. And I know that's a really big thing to say about a player like Rafa Nadal, but that's just how I feel the tournament going. Although I do think he will have not a comfortable, but a not too challenging semi-final, because like I said, he has Monfils' number and Berrettini as well. He's a hard server, but he's not going to give Nadal too much trouble. I think maybe a 4-set game and Nadal will take it.
Well, I think you're just trying to be viral like Asif Ahmed. That's not going to happen.
Day one, I've been
Asif will
saying
always
this
be
day
trending.
one.
Asif will always be trending. But Mehak, because Sabeel mentions that he, puts a lot of focus on Daniel Medvedev, what would you like to add about him?
So I actually do agree with Sabeel. I also think that if Berrettini or Monfils win, whoever wins, since you said it's a really tight match going on right now, but I think Berrettini can actually give Nadal a tough time, especially on hard courts, because of the way he plays. He's got that big forehand, he's got that slice backhand. Yeah, because he's so tall, he's like 6'5", so. And Nadal, but I still think on hard courts with his big serve, he can give Nadal a tough time. But I think, if anything, it can go to 4 sets, maybe not 5. But I do think Daniel Medvedev will be the real danger man, because just the way he is, the way he moves really well, the way his ground strokes are, he manages to get everything back, and that too at a good pace. We saw the way he played against Novak Djokovic in that US Open final. So yes, I do think Medvedev does, unfortunately, even though I'm a Rafa fan, but I still think Medvedev can take it from there. I don't know. It will be a tough one between Nadal and Medvedev if they both reach the final.
Of course, really tough one, but you know, I've always been a Federer fan, but just for competition's sake, I know Mehak and Sabila might just edge towards Medvedev, but I'll just, you know, for the history of the 21st Grand Slam, I'll just say that maybe Rafael Nadal is going to take it.
I'm still
Let's
rooting
move our
for
focus
Nadal,
now to the women's side as well, and it does look like that it's going to be Ash Barty. Really, I don't see much competition, but Sabila, she's got an intent, she's got focus, she wants to win it on home soil, and she's getting there.
Yeah, I think Meg has also agreed that Barty is the outright favorite. When I asked her this, she was like, "This is the outright favorite." I don't really think she's gonna lose. Even the next game, I think it's against Madison Keys, if I'm not mistaken. She pulled off an upset in the last round as well, and now she's in the semis. I think she'll win straight sets again. She will win the final probably without dropping one. 6-3, 6-4 as it is with her. She's going to be very dominant, get that trophy on home soil, and it will be what we all saw coming but want to see. And I really think there's probably less than a 5% chance she doesn't make it to the final, and less than a 5% chance she doesn't win the final. Very much Barty all the way for me.
Very, very much Barty, of course, but you know, Barty really looks like the one to take the crown, Mehak. But two upsets that we want to talk about. First, of course, Madison Keys now moving on to the next round, winning her game against her Spanish opponent as well. And also the fact that Maria Sakkari has been knocked out of the tournament as well.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. You know, the thing with Madison Keys is we know that she's got the game because she has been a previous US Open runner-up when she lost to Sloane Stephens quite a few years ago. You know, you look at her game now, it's perfect for hard court. She's got such a big forehand that she can smack winners from any corner of the court. So, you know, for her, it's just all about what she's feeling like mentally on that day. If she can, you know, if she can cut down on those unforced errors, which I think throughout this tournament she's done a really good job at doing, and that's why we've seen her win easily and cause these upsets easily against Garbine Muguruza, again, you know, then against Krejcikova. Like, she's been winning easily against these people. So I think with her, it's a lot to do with just, you know, cutting down those unforced errors, but still playing her aggressive big forehand game. But at the same time, I think for her, Ash Barty will be a tricky opponent because Ash Barty doesn't have that typical women's game, you know, just hitting the ball flat out to each other. And, you know, she's got so much variety in her game, Emma. Like, she's got the slice, she's got that kick serve, she's got that big forehand again, you know, where she can, but not just big when it comes to power. She really knows how to use tactics, how to use a serve out wide and then hit in the open court to her opponent, and then how to really, you know, just hit in the corners with her forehand and really use her slice effectively to really drive her opponents crazy on the court. You know, they really don't know what to do. Then she comes to the volley. She knows how to trip and charge. So it's really exciting watching Ash Barty play, and I think she's going to cause a lot of trouble for Madison Keys because Madison Keys will not be used to that kind of play, you know, so far. So, yeah, I definitely will go for Ash Barty. She seems absolutely unbeatable at the moment.
Definitely she is. Well, Mehak Coker, thank you so much for joining us on Sports Extra. Now, Sabila, before we go, I've got a very interesting question to ask you. And the fact is that, you know, ever since we've seen a pause to the era of Serena Williams, a pause, I won't say the end, I'll say a pause. You know, the field has opened up to some new champions in the making. We saw the rise of Naomi Osaka, then we saw the rise of Emma Raducanu. Then, of course, now we talk about Ash Barty taking the world of tennis by storm. So it has completely opened up.
So this is actually a really interesting point. I wanted to touch on this myself, so it's very good that you brought it up. Towards the end of Serena's, you know, peak, and when obviously she went off that peak, obviously Naomi Osaka was getting wins against her, and I think Serena was off it by then, and Naomi was the better player and rising up. And since then, I think there's been really no consistency in the women's game at the top, let's say, like people who have dominated consistently. So there actually is that massive power vacuum for somebody to come and fill and play. And like you said, the field's opened up, right? So there's a lot of opportunities. This is the best time probably for, like you've seen Emma Raducanu win Grand Slam, right? Like you've seen stuff like this. This is the time for this kind of stuff to happen. But I will say this about Barty. She has been the only relatively consistent thing in women's tennis since the decline of Serena Williams, which is why I think you see it in this tournament as well. And yes, I understand she wouldn't have been number one for so long without the protected rankings. Obviously, she took time off, injuries and whatnot. But as far as women's tennis right now goes, she is the most consistent thing, the safest bet, and she will definitely, look, anybody can come and pull up an upset. This is the best time. But Barty is I think, going to take this home. but there are Grand Slams down the road, and people should definitely use this time before Barty really cements herself as that number one who is expected to win all the time.
Definitely she would. Sabeel Azir, thank you so much for joining us on Sports Extra. On that note, let's take a look at our segment recap. We discussed the Australian Open tennis tournament in detail, talking about Nadal, who has cruised once again. He had a tough encounter against Denis Shapovalov, but he has, of course, qualified for the next round. He is now very close to that 21st Grand Slam. And elsewhere, Ash Barty has also been cruising. Maria Sakkari, of course, knocked out. Madison Keys getting an upset victory as well. She's also qualified for the next round. On that note, that's all we have time for this edition of Sports Extra. Catch us once again tomorrow. From me and the entire team, it's goodbye for now.